by the Nigerian police.
No, my Lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My Lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My Lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court, my Lord.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord. These cases are in court, my Lord. I'm just reminding your Lordship.
My Lord, sorry, my Lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the program called Legally Speaking. You are listening to Planet Radio 101.1 FM, and you're watching SpectrumTv on Star Times and Free to Air TV. My name is Anthony Ibuka, I'm a legal practitioner with Law Partners and Associates. The show begins now. All right, on today's edition, we'll be bringing you 4 topics to discuss. One of them will be the man who flogged to death. Well, that's what we hear. A teacher who had beaten up his child the previous day. We'll get to know that story and look at some legal implications of what happened on that day. We'll also bring to you the story that the NSAS protests is has its 3rd year anniversary today, and with the 3rd year anniversary, there's still 15 people in custody 3 years down the line. Part of what we'll be discussing will be that. Then the APC chairman of a local government, I think called Buni local government, has been arrested in, we'll tell you the state when we come back, has been arrested for impregnating a 14-year-old housemaid of his. We'll look at why that is so. In some states we hear the governor had married a 14-year-old Egyptian lady. Why is it strange that the party chairman who impregnated a 14-year-old girl has been arrested and is facing prosecution? I think finally we'll also look at the story that the Supreme Court has selected 7 judges that will be handling the final appeal of the 3 contestants challenging the election, the 25th February election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. All right, to discuss this and more, I have with me in the studio the 3 or 2 legal practitioner and a non-legal practitioner. Hannah Esen. Hannah is to my far left. Hannah is a teacher, and Hannah is an intense social, not critic anyway, social analyst. Hannah, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, I have a legal practitioner to my immediate left, Hannah Etini Pasi.
Thank you.
Etini, you're welcome to the show. Etini is with Law Partners and Associates. All right, so let's start with the story of the teacher who flogged, the man who flogged a teacher to death. I mean, it's a very sad story. Etini, you have that story, right?
Yes.
Go on then.
Okay, so in Delta States, we've heard a story that a student, a J1 student, had scaled the fence of a school, Aliame Mixed School in Abo local government area of Delta State. So he has scaled the fence of the school with other students and have gone to a nearby palm wine shop to steal palm wine. So the school getting to know that they had to instill discipline in them. And then on getting back, one of the students, just one student, went back to his parents and told his parents how he was flogged in school. And then the parents came back to the school with cane and flogged teachers. And then in the process, one of the teachers slumped and then died on his way to the hospital.
Wow. Hannah, let's have your expression on that. That's your jurisdiction. That's your area of competence. A teacher was flogged to death by a parent. Is it strange? Is it new?
No, it's not strange. It's what we do every day. In fact, I'm imagining me in my office and irate parents comes in with a cane and starts flogging all of us because a child of his.
Then what would you do in that case?
Disciplined.
Yes, what would you do?
I'm just wondering because I think if the parents came alone, I don't know what kind of cane he had on him that teachers didn't bundle him and beat him up in return. Yes.
Because it wasn't one teacher.
Because he said that he came in and flogged teachers indiscriminately. So I'm wondering if the man was Samson, that he came in flogging teachers. Maybe he was swinging the cane around, and I don't know how. When I read the story, all that came from because we discipline children every day. I know I have seen children do all manner of things. I've seen children come in with fish, and we all were convinced that they stole that fish. They had little fishlings they call. Small children, JS1, JS2. They all had this fish in bottles. They were there, the supplier of the fish, one tiny human being like this. And everybody was convinced that that boy stole those fish babies to come and give them. They were buying it at a very... So we called them. So I'm trying to imagine, you flog them, don't do it again. And next thing you see a parent coming, wielding a cane and hitting everybody right, left and center. So I don't know what makes parents think that their children, because what I understand what I don't know is if that school is a private school.
It's a mixed school.
Even if it's a private school, because I understand that a private school will let teachers know as well as parents that in our school, there's no flogging of children. But I think right now in public schools, because I've looked at even at Kwame State, in public schools, teachers are permitted to punish children, to administer corporal punishment. So I don't know why parents run in when they are told that...
I think that topic will require more in-depth analysis. So let's get back to it. Yes, we'll get back to it in the course of the program. Let's rush to the NSAS project. The NSAS protest, today I understand they had the anniversary protest at Lekki, and part of what they came up with was the fact that about 15 of their protesters are still in custody 3 years down the line. And a lot of things went through my mind. Yes, they have the freedom to protest, a freedom to gather again in commemoration of the protest, and to take stock of what had happened following the protest. Now, part of the stock taking indicates that 15 people are in custody, and I'm worried. What's really going on? Who are the organizers of the NSAS protest? Why would they be in custody for 3 years running? Has there been any charge against them? Has anybody tried to even get them out? Is there a lawyer on their case? Because a situation, people came out voluntarily to protest, to promote a cause, and they were eventually arrested and kept in custody. And there was a move to settle the dispute between the government and the protesters. It went into, I think there were court panels set up severally by the various states that were involved in the protest. And these panelists were funded. Awards were made by the panels. All right? Some people, I guess, were paid. Why then were people still in custody? Who was responsible for negotiating their release? Why didn't the panel also make an order? Because the panel had the right to make orders that people in custody be brought before them so they could even interview and see if some of them could be released. What went down? Etini, let's come through you.
Yes, that's a question the entire public should ask themselves. Because when someone is arrested, you have 24 hours, at most 48 hours to charge that person for whatever crime he committed. But these people have been in custody, would I say incarceration for how many years? For 3 years going. and then no one is saying anything about it. I didn't even know there were people in custody.
Exactly.
Until today. So what happened along the way? Why is nobody saying anything about it? The families of these people, where are they?
Yeah, are you suspecting anything? Because sometimes I feel some stories might not really be the way it's posted out there. The federal government might come out, or state government might come out to say we don't have anybody in our custody. That is just social media gimmicks.
Who's the source of this? Amnesty International.
Well, Amnesty could be one of them.
From the way the news was presented, it appears they interviewed them in custody. Now I understand that one of them talked about being arraigned. What does being arraigned mean? It means that they were taken to court, right?
Okay.
Because one of them said after he was arraigned, he was now, but they weren't tried and there wasn't any conviction. So they are just there.
They were arraigned for what offenses?
You see, because he also said that they were trumped up charges like theft against them.
Yes.
Okay. Now, yes. So when there is a charge against someone, what the essence of trial is to prove whether the person is guilty or not. So when you're found guilty, you're convicted. If you're not found guilty, you're
my other concern is that when you are brought to court, when you are arraigned before the court doesn't even require you to file a bail application. The bail is as a matter of course. Now, if they trumped up charges of thefts, that's a bailable offense. Ordinarily, as soon as there is a charge before the court, and the court sees that the offenses are not murder or other cases that are not bailable, the court imposes a bail on the accused person or the defendant. So I would have ordinarily thought that some of them would have been taken on bail, but we need to also hear the side of the side of the state. The state needs to tell us why some of them have not been taken to court. If they are in custody, if Amnesty says we interviewed some of them in custody, it means some people still are in custody that claim they were part of the INSAS protest.
The international organization on Friday said in a statement on its website that the majority of protesters are in Kirikiri Medium Correctional Center and Ikoyi Medium Security Correctional Center in Lagos without trial. That's what's been reported to have been said by Amnesty International. So Amnesty International is supposed to be a trusted
source of information.
Yes. So
but of course, they could be trusted. It could be a trusted source of information. When you get to the remand centers, like the correctional centers, that's when you know that people do tell stories that are not true.
Okay. The charges include theft, arson, possession of firearms, and murder.
Or if there's murder, then murder is the key word. Unless murder runs across all the charges against them. Since nobody died, the federal government said nobody died. So who was murdered? Now, this is the problem I have with some of these social organizations. You're quick to call out youths to support you in a protest for a good cause. But there are casualties. Fortunately, these casualties weren't death penalty. Those that died wasn't what would you call it, the supreme sacrifice of death. We cried over those that suffered the supreme sacrifice of death. But what of those that are in custody? All you need to do is to get people, lawyers to interface with them and see how they can move their matters to court.
But was there really an organization was there really an umbrella organization that called for
yes, they were.
I think it was just
don't use
organic.
Don't use that word. I know that's what you're going to. No, there's nothing called organic in protest. There's some people at the background funding the process, mobilizing the process. People sent money. Monies were found in several bank accounts.
So do you need money to protest?
You need money to
get
prosecute.
to the streets.
Are they even aware that these people are in custody? Because until now, we've just heard that some people are still in custody. So they themselves, were they aware? that these people are in custody.
Why not? When there was a panel of inquiry and we're mopping up information, people went to the panel of inquiry. People had legal representation. Why was this legal representation not extended to those in custody? Because it is part of hypocrisy for somebody to have.
Who were the people who had legal representation?
They were legal representation in court, in the panels, for those that claim to be victims of that NSAS protest. And people were awarded money.
The victims weren't the ones that were arrested.
Yes.
Part of the victims. No. Anybody that had, including those that were arrested, are part of the victims of that protest, right? When people are in custody, what for not doing anything, what do you call that? Do you understand me?
That's what I'm saying. You keep on claiming that there was an organized, like we have NLC who calls up people on strike. I'm not aware of. I don't remember that there was. It was just people who felt when there was a hashtag on social media.
Don't follow that. There was a hashtag on social media.
They'll gather in Uyo. They'll gather in like Uyo here. Where was the body?
Yeah, there were people that made the organization. People that called out. People that were funding that protest. People that were on ground.
People using funding. Funding how?
By the
what was funding? When what happened was, what I understood was people just went and stood there and they will be cooking.
Yes.
They'll just be raising money on the spot and
they are raising money on the spot.
That's the impression they wanted you to have. I'm happy you had that impression.
Really?
That's not what really happened. Anyway, when people went to court, student advocates were there to represent them. Why didn't the student advocates? They were even looking for, scavenging for the dead body or people who claim their wards or children had died.
Yeah, because the attention then was on the victims, not those who were arrested and charged.
Anybody was arrested is a victim. Anyway, that's as much as we have on that.
So when you're talking about, you're now looking for, they have not helped these people languishing in prison. How about the people who put them in prison?
See, let me give you an illumination of what the state does. The interest of the state is to have peace. If having peace includes locking 5 people up forever, and as soon as they take you in there and secure a date that you are not aware of, they keep adjourning your matter off record. Nobody cares until you hire a lawyer who comes out to say, please, I have an interest in suit number this, that, and they will check it and say the last time it came up there was no representation and it came in during the public holiday, and since then nobody has taken dates. Can you take the dates down? The matters get lost in court.
Okay, so the angle you're presenting now is those people had no representation.
I think so. They have no representation. If not, if they had a representation, the lawyer would have taken dates and would have made sure the correctional center produces them in court, and that matter would have had a headway. Until you have that legal representation, they will not sit the correctional center and call the court to fix their matters and bring them out. That's it. It's lost it. It's lost it.
I wish all of them are arraigned.
Well, there's no way they would stay. No. There's no way you would stay in the correctional center for 3 years without being arraigned. If you are at the correctional center, it's different if you're staying at the police station.
Yes.
To get into the correctional center, there must have been an arraignment and a date fixed for your hearing. And following that date, something must have happened along the line for you to remain there without coming out. So that's it.
No, I'm curious now. Let's understand the process, because what Amnesty International said here was that they have been incarcerated without trial. Okay, so the state arrested them and they had charges against them. Like what we've heard, murder, theft, arson, and possession of firearms. So what you're saying is when I'm arrested like that, I have to get a lawyer. I am arrested and arraigned. I have to contact a lawyer from police custody, and then if I don't, I run the risk of being thrown away in prison because nobody spoke
Their case and dates might be lost in the process.
But there's what we call legal aid.
Legal aid only goes to those that come to them. So if you go to them and say, please, I have a problem, but when you don't have any family member representing you to legal aid, for legal aid to come out and ask for you. So that's a place, that's where Amnesty International could negotiate with legal aid to say, please, we are going to fund this. We have 15 people, go around the custodial centers, identify them, and prosecute their cases in the defense of their cases. So where that is not done, we are just happy to report case issues online, that people are still there, come out and protest again and release them. Those people.
Nobody has said
I'm
come
saying,
out and
I know,
protest again.
I am the one
not,
saying it.
Do not
because
add what has not
when
been
you
said.
raise such issues, what are you telling us? Why don't you raise the issues and say we have mobilized about 2-3 lawyers to see who can pro bono lawyers to get these people out, and we'll clap for you.
They have brought it so that you can get lawyers to go and.
Did they give me names of people?
The names are there.
All right.
Of them.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on. We have this story of the APC chairman that impregnated the 14-year-old. Did they say girl?
Housemaid.
Housemaid.
Mm-hmm.
Housemaid should be a lady, a girl, or
Who gets pregnant?
40-year-old.
women. All right, let's have the story. Let's have the story, Hannah.
The APC and APC chairman of a local government in which state?
Ogun State.
No, is it Jubilee?
Okay, go on.
We are not serious here.
Yes, go on.
Has been suspended. Is it suspended by his party? Yeah.
Yes, he has been arrested. I think that's where we are interested in.
The party has also kicked him out for now.
Leave the party.
For raping and impregnating a 14-year-old maid, his 14-year-old maid. So that's what that picture paints, is this girl was in his house as a housemaid. And it's something we know happens to housemates in homes. The men in that house see them as one of their duties is to have sex along with what else they were brought in, both the sons and the
why are you stereotyping men in that manner?
Is it women that do it?
Yes, I know that.
I'm not stereotyping,
I know that the house helps.
Happens.
I know that the house helps also abuse the children, the men, boys.
We are not talking about that now. Yeah, that's not the case.
No, the picture you were painting is scary.
I am painting it because you started saying, is it a woman? Is it it's a 14-year-old
girl
that is
it's the choice of what I want you to say, girl.
As a maid.
I want you to say a girl. Because if you say lady, when people hear the word pregnant housemaid, it could be like a 24-year-old housemaid. So when you say a girl, child, 14-year-old.
A 24-year-old housemaid wouldn't make news.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So the news here is that a politically exposed person.
Yes.
By virtue of his office as the chairman of the local government APC. The reason for that title is to show that he's politically exposed. 1, 2, to show that he has been arrested despite his political exposure. Third is that the girl in question lived with him as a help.
Yes.
But now he's pregnant 4 months and a few weeks.
Yeah, test was conducted and it was found that the
girl is pregnant. And the brother raised the alarm. Yes. Okay. The other part that we don't know is that if there is a DNA test to confirm that it is a man that impregnated. But however, there's a presumption that before this girl will point fingers at you, whether or not that child is your own, you must have participated in some activity that made you liable to be fingered.
The one that is responsible for the pregnancy.
One of those that could be responsible.
Because pregnancy is not transferred by Bluetooth.
Okay.
And the child is 14.
Yeah, now that's Jigawa State. Jigawa State is somewhere up north of Nigeria. A few administration back, I'm aware of a 14-year-old girl that was married in Egypt by a sitting governor of, I think, Zamfara State then. And the FIDA and some of the women organizations raised hell, but nothing happened. The girl came back home, married an Egyptian girl, right? It's important. But what's the position of the law? Is it legal to marry outside Nigeria and bring the person back to Nigeria? Does it make it criminal offense? Or is it legal? I know that some Muslims still marry 12-year-olds in Nigeria because according to them, their culture permits it and promotes it. And it's different from the southern states where we see a 16, 17-year-old as still an underaged minor that can't contract marriage. But under their culture, they contract marriage even at as early as that 14 and 12. Now, what would be the position of the law? I think some of the people will want to ask that question. So come to you, Tini. What do you think would be the position of the law when you consider the age of the children, 14, they willingly, with consent of their parents, in high places, sit together and exchange gold as a bride price?
The laws in the north have actually allowed a marriage of underage children.
Traditional and customary laws.
Yes, traditional and customary laws. They've allowed a marriage of underage children if that particular law is binding on both parties. As if both parties are under that particular law, they can marry.
As the Muslims?
Yes, the Muslims, they can marry. So if this girl is a Muslim, the Egyptian girl, if she's a Muslim, I think we have Muslims in Egypt, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If she's a Muslim in Egypt and the man is a Muslim in Nigeria and parents have consented, I don't think there's anything wrong with that according to the customs and traditions of the
Hannah, do you share that view?
I don't know how we are managing two laws in because down here, what I understand is where our customary law clashes with and said to be what did they use
when it's repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience,
put it aside.
Yes.
And so over there, maybe it's not considered to be repugnant to natural justice over there, because I can't imagine why we should have or maybe the laws we have down here doesn't apply there. They run their own law differently.
No, I think what they try to use in justifying that marriage is that marriage is just title. Consummation of the marriage is later. I've heard them justify it that way, that we could marry a baby, not because we want to consummate the marriage, but by ceremony. That's my wife. And
then that's not, is that not what is called betrothal?
Well,
because I understand it used to happen, you go, even down here, when I read novels, you go, a child is born, you go tell the parents, this is the wife for my son, when they are kids. So it's only when they are grown that they will now come and, so if that's it, it's a betrothal. If they bring that into the picture that until the child is grown. Now you want to relate it to, even if it's allowed there, you didn't marry this girl. This girl came there as a maid. You didn't meet the parents and they gave you consent. They handed over the girl to you as a wife. So you have no business having sex with her. You have committed a crime.
Well, I think the child rights law and act totally forbids a marriage to a minor, and the several laws that affect sexual violence.
Okay, now there are several definitions of different acts have defined minor.
It doesn't really matter. I think the ultimate one would be the Constitution that sees 18 as a majority age of majority.
Okay, fine. Let me. There's something on my mind. We are a federation, and states have laws. How does that work? Because I've heard you say a number of times that a law has to be adopted by the state to be applied in the state. So, assuming this child rights law that's floating in the air is not adopted by these states, we are talking about these states that see okay marrying girls as young as 14, then there's no crime there.
All right,
So let's explain to us the law, the state law and the federal law thing.
Okay, normally when you have the Child Rights Act, which is a federal act out of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by the Senate or House of Representatives, for it to be effective in your state, they have to be, your state House of Assembly has to adopt it as a state law.
Yes.
And with some modifications, right? And I think most of the states have adopted the Child Rights Act as their law with modifications. None of them, I'm not sure any of the modifications includes what definition of a child is, right? The definition of a child is universal. Anybody under the age of 18 is regarded as a minor, cannot enter into contracts, and marriage is a contract. Now, where...
Are we sure?
Yes, marriage.
What I'm saying so is because I remember Billy Graham's daughter got married at 16.
I know, as a marriage is a contract. Some religious bodies, we must distinguish between religious.
No, it's not religion here. They got married to her in the States with the law. So I think 16.
Yes.
That has to be with parental consent. While 18, you're on your own. You're free to
roam. Yeah, but whatever the case is, the law is settled that any acts of sexual relationship with minors are punishable, and grace of punishments per state. Some could say life imprisonment comes to say 14, but the states are gradually moving into protecting the girl child more and more and giving stiffer punishments along with sexual relationship with children. Some are even reduced rates to even not the slightest penetration and people's thing, but to harassments and what you would have called back then attempted rape.
Okay.
And they are now rape. You don't need to even say it was attempted. You call it rape at once.
Okay.
Because the child has been psychologically damaged by that rape. And rape now includes even minor boys, no longer just a female. Before then, it was just a female that way.
Please.
So there has been that expansion of the scope of rape, and I'm happy that the man who has been arrested and the party has disassociated themselves from him, because it then would appear that he would have hidden under the ambience of party chairmanship, and the party will come out to say it's our political enemy that is doing this, so this thing did not happen.
No, he doesn't have immunity.
He doesn't have immunity. All right, I think we've gone far.
Now that you mentioned immunity,
so we will not run away.
Sorry, don't run away. Let me ask, assuming it was a governor that did this, immunity
would have covered the governor until after his tenure. So we have to be very careful with the kind of governors we put in there, because they have immunity. All right, we will open the phone lines for callers to call. I don't think we can go on a break having regards to the things we are doing right now. The numbers to call will be 090-222-31011. I repeat that number, 090-222-31011. The alternative number to call will be 070-454-17707. I repeat the alternative number, 070-454-17707. Okay, let's throw in a very short one. Maybe we can take a 1-minute break after that, so that we can come back to the story that we want to carry for the day. The Supreme Court has constituted 7-man panel of justice to hear the appeal filed by the 3 presidential candidates against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Recall that the Court of Appeal, as a court of first instance, had dismissed those election petitions as being frivolous and lacking in substance, and they had proceeded to the Supreme Court in some cases to ask for additional evidence to be taken at the Supreme Court for the first time. The panelists include Honorable Justice Musa Datijo Muhammad, Honorable Justice Owani Musa Abba Aji, Honorable Justice Lawal Garba, Honorable Justice Helen M. Ogunwumi Ju, then Honorable Justice I.N. Salawa, Honorable Justice Tijani Abubakar, Honorable Justice Emmanuel Agim. So those are the justices. At least I know I.N. Salawa, he was in the Court of Appeal, Calabar, before he was elevated to the Supreme Court. Quite a smart gentleman, and I'm sure they will do justice to it. But that's what's your take, Tini?
Yeah, I believe the justices of the Supreme Court are good repute, and then I believe they will do justice as the public say in the matter. I believe that whatever they do, they will have to take the law in consideration first, and then arrive at a decision that will be binding on everybody, because that's the apex court.
Yeah, I hear that the appeal has been fixed for, I think, Monday.
Yes.
It will be taken on Monday, the 23rd of October, and then the court will adjourn for its final decision. But you know what is hanging right now, and I want to say something about that, because I think what is hanging is the issue of new evidence that should be taken or should not be taken by the Supreme Court, and people are asking questions.
Well, what baffles me is lawyers know the rules of, should I say, engagement. When you're appealing a judgment, you're going to the higher court to say, this judgment that was given by the lower courts, I do not believe it should be that way. Look at it and agree with them or
Disagree.
overturn it. Yeah. So why are you now bringing new things to change their mind on what was? Why don't you present it to the lower courts so that they will see all you had to give you the kind of judgment you were hoping for? But you don't bring it after they have pronounced a judgment that you're supposed to go and ask another set of people, look at this judgment, look at what was presented. I don't think they should have judged this way. What do you say? And you now come and add something else.
Yes, there is a section to that rule of giving evidence. The law is that if you were not able to obtain that evidence during the substantive matter, during the matter that has been decided upon, yes, that you can present that evidence to the Supreme Court, but the evidence was related to the matter, and then it's with the judges who decide on that evidence with their own discretion. So it's not a one-way thing.
Well, I think basically what she's trying to say is that you must have pleaded that evidence even when you did not have it. You must have said something about it. You must have hanged your case on it, but you weren't able to obtain the evidence before the time. Because it was either hidden by the person who had it, or it was extremely difficult to have. And when you now have it, but in this case, if you look at the pleadings, their pleadings at the time never brought this. You know, it's like you went fishing whilst you were in court and you discovered something, and you now come back and say, okay, now we're going to see something else. Come and add it to the case. It wouldn't be doing justice to add that, because it's shifting the goalpost. When you came to the lower court, this is what you presented. Then when you went to the Supreme Court, you now brought something else that the lower court didn't have opportunity to evaluate, even by way of oral evidence without documents. So I think that's where it will hang. All right, let's take a very short break. Then we come back. The phone lines will still be on. Then we conclude this session. Short break.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian Police Force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My Lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My Lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my Lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord. These cases are in court, my Lord. I'm just reminding your Lordship.
My Lord, sorry, my Lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my Lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My Lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My Lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my Lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord. These cases are in court, my Lord. I'm just reminding your Lordship.
My Lord, sorry, my Lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
All right, welcome back to Legally Speaking on Planet Radio 101.1 FM and SpectrumTv. Start times at 3J. My name is still Anthony. I still have Hannah Hussein and Etini Daniels with me. Etini Basi. Okay, before we went on the break, we had opened the phone lines, so the phone lines are still open. You can call in for comments on any of the topics we've discussed. We've discussed a wide range of topics, including the rape of a 14-year-old by. Hello, good evening to you.
Yes, legally speaking.
Yes, you're also Legally Speaking.
Thank you. God bless you for a nice job you have done.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank God it's Friday. And this is Friday from your neighbor.
Okay, Friday. It's calling on a Friday from your neighbor.
God bless you.
All right, sir.
Honestly, I want to really say that I don't believe that Supreme Court would take additional evidence after the tribunal has given judgment. That is my own opinion.
Okay.
Because that evidence is supposed to be from the tribunal. And if the Supreme Court takes the evidence now and give another judgment, it will look like on the tribunal as if that they don't know what they were doing.
Okay.
So, a lot of confusion. That is why we have a judiciary as a last hope of a common man. And the people who work in judiciary, they're supposed to fear God very well. Because that God who created us, it is them that can help or set anybody free. They should change their mindset for God's sake and do justice according to evidence before them so that this country will be in peace. You know that there are so many cases lying, electoral cases now before Nigerian people are looking up to this.
All right, Friday.
It should change their mindset. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Friday. Thank you very much. Well, I think Friday, I might share his opinion, and that's what Hannah was trying to say, that it will look like shifting a goalpost. When this matter came to court, you didn't raise the issue, and you weren't frontal about it. Then eventually somebody gives you a tip, you come back to court to say, well, even when there was judgment, I still have a right to bring in something else that should disqualify him. the court might agree with you that this is worthy of disqualifying him.
Yes.
But since you didn't have it early enough, it doesn't really help. Wait for the next time, okay?
And if the court says that now, what will people who do not know how it's supposed to be think? They'll feel that the court didn't rule properly.
No, I don't.
I know, but what I'm saying, we know that we out here who are not judges, who are not lawyers, when we hear, we judge the judges very harshly.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying.
Well, you see, sometimes, which is why you have what is called ratio discipline, that in court, the reason for the judgment, the court takes its time to explain. This is why, this is what you brought to court. This was your argument. This was the argument of the other person. And this is our reasoning considering this argument.
And how
so,
many of us go and read ratio discipline?
It doesn't matter. A lot of people do. That the reason, because they summarize it at the end of the day, the reason we are not taking it is because of this and that. Okay, so everybody goes home and is satisfied. Remember what happened when this man's case was up? His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari retired back then. When they put it online, it was watched live. Everybody went home quiet. Till today, I've not heard anybody complain. Yes, it silenced everybody because the judges took their time to present their reason. So when you give a judgment that doesn't have an elaborate reasoning, people are left to speculate. In Buhari's case, that's the biggest saga. Nobody was left in doubt that the judges did their right thing, and everybody went silent. Okay, we need to go back to the school. Yeah, we really need to look at it. Does the teacher have right to punish corporally at any level, at any rate?
Well, when I looked at Akwa Ibom state laws, I don't know if it has been revised. What I saw there was that, yes, but it has to be, the school has to designate a particular teacher to give a corporal punishment.
Or like you have the hangman. There must be a hangman, executioner.
I don't know, maybe it would be the compound master, but that's what I saw when I looked inside the
Wow,
law.
that's serious.
What that means is that, yes,
not all
government,
teachers
not all teachers, and I think it's also required that it should be recorded in a logbook. It's been a while since I read it. Okay. Although the truth is that, we went to school now. Well, you can recall in school, you're flocked right from being late to school.
You're flocked from gates.
You're flocked from gates, right from coming to school late. You're flocked.
And you're flocked even in front of your parents.
Yes, you're flocked right from being late. You come in, you're asked to kneel down. You're flocked.
Yes.
So, but that's what I saw in the.
And some parents even encourage the flogging.
Yes. And why is that not considered as assault? Because normally you're not supposed to hit somebody. Okay. But the person, a teacher is considered to be in locals parenting.
Okay.
That you're in the position of a parent. That time the child is in school. But it appears that a lot of parents do not know this. They feel, I am the one who's supposed to discipline my child. So the moment you hear parents say, how dare you touch my child, and they'll come vibrating, when the law permits, as long as you take your child and from those hours that child is not under your care, that child has to be under somebody's care. So somebody has to take your responsibility. That moment, the hours the child is not with you, somebody has to take, discipline the child.
Because when you consider the child had jumped fence,
yes,
broke bounds.
Go and drink palm wine.
What if he died in the process?
They stole palm wine.
If there was poisoning,
yeah.
We've had a situation where children jumped, broke bounds, going to the stream, died in the process, and the school was held responsible.
Yes.
So the school has a right to instill one form of discipline or the other.
But on the other hand, when you talk of corporal punishment, the punishment to be given has to be proportionate to what that child did.
But if
how do you measure proportion?
Yes.
It has to be proportionate.
Okay. What if the school opted to expel the whole set of children? Would the same parent come to beg that I want my child back in school? You need to take all these things into consideration. Some children are getting so out of hand, and it used to work for us then. nobody asks questions. I know my compound master, he walked in, the level prefect was punishing us. You know what he said? Beat them with rods, they will not die. And I mean, that was scary.
But now, when you want to look at the law, it's not proper to ask a student. You don't delegate the authority of beating.
Okay, so what should senior prefects and others do?
You report to
the school authority. So a child comes late to the hostel, and you say, "Go, come." And you write his name, go and report to the teachers. And every day you keep reporting to the teacher.
Of course, that's what they love. Because no, we have seen instances. You know, these children. We've seen instances. Parents will come, a student hits my child. Most of the time, we'll tell the child, "Oh yeah, go and bring your father to come and pay for the treatment of this one." So to avoid that, I mean, I'm pretty sure that if it goes to court, the school authorities will not be, when the laws are checked, as you're saying, will not be patted on the back for the getting authority to beat to another child.
You know the beautiful thing, most of the judges were prefects. and they have
Come
that.
on,
they have private experiences.
Anyway, but as the part that interested me most is me sitting down in my office and you come in with a cordial and you come and hit me.
Yeah, and now because your son jumped the fence, you've killed somebody, and you're going to die by hand.
So assuming he didn't kill somebody, to me that he came and beat me for no reason.
No, that's assault. No.
Yes. That he came and beat me for no reason.
That is why it's very important that people are taught to exercise care, patience, and courtesy when they are relating with the third party. Because you come in now and you flogged people and somebody died in the process, and you're in custody now, what would that child say when he grows up? I killed my father because I went and reported to him that the teacher beat me.
Which child? Which father did he kill?
Because
the man is the adult. I mean, what made you think? What reasonable man you jump into a school and you start beating teachers? What's that?
Well,
even if you were offended, the proper thing is I've seen parents come to complain in school. You go and say, especially if your child has been wounded, you go and I've seen parents. They come and report to us. This is how my child was. This is a wound that came from flogging. Your teacher overflogged, and you just pick a cane and run into school and be beating everybody.
Well, from the description, from a child of just to jumping fence to steal palm wine, just one. That child is not very reasonable, and you know the product of an unreasonable family.
It wasn't one child. They said they went out.
Yes, but the other parents
come back
because he taught his son their unreasonability. Anyway, that's as far as we can go, legally speaking, today. Thank you very much, everybody, and I hope to see you next week. I hope to see the audience next week. I've been with Hannah Essien and Etini Basi. My name is Anthony. Because the same time next week when we meet again, I hope everything you do from now till then will be legal.
The Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my Lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps
SpectrumTv, broadening your horizon.
Welcome to another exciting time to talk about business. It is Business 101, and my name is Blyden